So, you're a researcher in Africa. You've made a groundbreaking discovery. You've put in the hours and you have the data. That's amazing. But it's only half the battle. The real challenge? Making sure that discovery actually does something in the real world. In this explainer, we're digging into the invaluable wisdom of Dr. Julius Kirami-Swandi to show you how to turn your vital work into real-world impact.
Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. Dr. Cindy nails it right here. This isn't just about getting published or adding a line to your CV. We're talking about the power to reshape the future. The kind of work that can influence policy, secure critical funding, and genuinely build a better continent. The stakes are incredibly high.
Okay, but let's be real. We're all drowning in information, right? There's just so much noise out there. So the big question is, how on earth do you make your voice, your research, heard by the people who actually need to hear it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
And look, this isn't just some nice-to-have skill. This is urgent. With all the massive challenges the world is facing today, African research holds so many of the keys. Your work has to be part of the solution. And for that to happen, it has to be heard.
Just try to put yourself in their shoes for a moment. Imagine you're a policymaker or a key donor. Your inbox is exploding. You've got a stack of reports a mile high. Your research, no matter how brilliant, is competing with all of that. It absolutely has to stand out with a message that's clear, concise, and compelling.
So how do you do it? How do you actually cut through all that noise? It all starts with one simple, absolutely fundamental principle. Know your audience. This is the bedrock. Everything else is built on top of this. And this table here just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? Policymakers, they need stuff they can act on like yesterday. Donors, they're looking for credible research that's going to have a massive impact. And the public and the media, they connect with stories they can relate to. A one-size-fits-all message just won't work. You have to tailor your communication. It's not a suggestion, it's a necessity.
And that's where this quote from Obadimma Ezezika really hits home. This isn't about standing on a stage and preaching. It's about a two-way conversation. It's about building trust by actually listening and understanding where other people are coming from before you ask them to understand your research.
All right, so you figured out who you're talking to. Now what? Now comes the transformation. This is where you take all that incredible, complex data and you weave it into a story that grabs attention, changes minds, and most importantly, inspires people to act. This three-step process is basically your roadmap. You start with the raw data. Then you dig deep to find the so what, the really crucial insights. And finally, you wrap those insights in a narrative that makes your findings impossible to ignore.
You know, Dr. Cindy says it best right here. Numbers are great, they inform us, but they don't often make us do anything. Stories, on the other hand, they make us feel. And if you want someone to change a law or fund a project, you need to make them feel why it's so important.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. When the pandemic hit South Africa, researchers didn't just publish a dry report on the economic fallout. No, they used that data to tell an urgent, powerful story of human need. The result? It directly helped shape a social relief grant that became a lifeline for millions of people. That's the power of a story. So what's one of your most effective tools in this process? Meet the policy brief. This isn't some dusty 50-page academic paper. We're talking about a short, sharp, 2 to 4-page document that gets straight to the point. Here's the problem, here's our solution, and here's what you need to do next. It's built for action. Okay, let's zero in now on those two audiences that can really move the needle, the policymakers and the donors. How do you develop a strategy that not only gets their attention, but actually wins their long-term support? With donors, you have to shift your entire mindset. Stop thinking of it as asking for a handout and start thinking of it as building a partnership. That means you do your homework, you understand their mission, you show exactly how your work helps them achieve their goals, you build trust, and you prove your impact with crystal clear data. It completely changes the dynamic. And if you think this is just theory, get this, an NGO in Ethiopia adopted this exact partnership model. And what happened? They increased their multi-year funding by 40%. That's not a rounding error. That is proof that this strategy works. Of course, even the most powerful message is useless if it never reaches the right people. That's why you have to be so strategic about your channels.
A smart mix, maybe traditional media like radio to reach a broad audience, policy forums to get in front of decision makers, and digital platforms to shape the online conversation ensures your work lands with maximum impact.
So you're doing all this fantastic work. You're crafting your message, you're getting it out there, but how do you know if it's actually working? The good news is you don't have to guess. Your impact isn't some vague hope. It's something you can actually measure.
And these metrics tell a powerful story all on their own. Just look at this. One research group implemented a clear communication strategy and saw an 85% jump in their work being cited in official policy documents. Think about what that means. Their research isn't just sitting on a shelf, it's in the room where decisions are being made.
Or how about this? 120 media mentions. That is the sound of your research breaking out of the academic bubble and becoming part of the national conversation. It's your ideas reaching thousands, maybe even millions of people.
And let's talk about the bottom line. A 67% response rate from donors, that's not an accident. That is the direct result of a campaign that didn't just ask for money, but used data-driven storytelling to prove its impact. When donors can see the value, they invest. It's that simple. So let's bring this all home. What does it all mean for you, the researcher? It means your role is so much bigger than just being in a lab or in the field. You are a bridge. You are a catalyst for progress. You are a crucial voice for a better future. When you really embrace these communication skills, you make a fundamental shift. You're not just a researcher anymore. You're a change agent. You're not just creating data. You're building a legacy that can have a ripple effect for generations to come.
Dr. Cindy's call to action is so direct and so powerful. Your research is your evidence, but your voice is your power. It's time to be the voice that doesn't just inform people, but one that actively changes policy and improves lives. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one thought. Your research holds a powerful, important story, a story that needs to be told. The only question is, are you ready to tell it?